हम सुन पा रहे हैं आपको रवि जी।
Okay, thank you sir, thank you for confirming. Thank you. Okay, we'll start in 1 minute. And good morning to all.
Good morning.
I would request not to use chat box for attendance because it distracts me. uh, I can miss any question being asked by the members. So if you only restrict yourself to write questions only on the chat box, it will help the one who is typing or asking any question. And anybody who wants to ask any question directly can raise their hands, so that I'll unmute you, and then we can proceed question and answer round. Okay. Again, good morning, very good morning, and happy Ganesh Chaturthi. Why this topic, legal requirement of valuation under Companies Act 2030? The simple answer is, I got many calls, regarding, sir, I need to issue a right issue. Do I need a valuer? Sir, I need a valuation for the purpose of income tax. Do I need a company? Do I need a registered valuer? Sir, I need to value for an asset for banking purpose, for the loan purpose. Do I need a registered valuer? So today, what we will learn about where our requirement is, especially for the land, buildings, and plant and machinery. They actually have, most of them, I'm not saying all of them, most of them don't have any idea where my requirement will be. Most of them has done their registered valuation just for the banking purpose, so that they can get impaneled in bank, although there is no specific section or provision in the Banking Act which says that you have to impanel the registered valuer only. So where is my requirement? We need to know about this, because in this because we will get work out of it. If we don't know where is my requirement, how will I get work? It is as simple as that. So my area focus will be there. In this 2 hours, I'll try to make you understand about your governing section, that is 247. Section 247, I will be covering that, and the provisions of Companies Act where your requirement is listed, where actually you are required, right? So we'll do one thing. We'll invite in discussing the sections of provisions. I'll invite 2 of you to interact with me for discussion purpose only in going through the session. Okay. So let me share the slide. Okay. I again request you to please don't use chat box for attendance purpose, because your attendance is captured by the RVO, and I can miss some questions being asked on the chat box. So the requirement, where is my requirement? We will cover that. And my name is Ravish Chaudhary. I'm a chartered accountant and registered valuer. I'm also serving as secretary of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, Lucknow branch. Okay. So the outline of the course we will cover today. We will cover section 247. Section 247, the governing section. Section 247, the governing section. Read with section 458. What is 458? हम इसको देखेंगे. What is section 458? And the Companies Act and the company's rules, right? I would request you please please mute yourself. Okay. And then we will know what are the areas we can work upon, what are the areas we are eligible to do valuation, and then an open discussion. In the meanwhile, I have also put how your valuation report should be. What are the key ingredients, what are the must points you should have include in your valuation report. We will discuss about it. Okay. The whole section will be of 2 hours. I'll give 5 minutes break after 1 hour so that you can, get adjusted and settle down. Okay, we will be able to answer after. I probably feel you will be able to answer what is my scope, and we in regarding various confusions. Sir, right issue में registered value की जरूरत है कि नहीं? Sir, bonus issue में registered value की जरूरत है कि नहीं? Sir, plant and machinery की कब जरूरत है? So you probably able to answer these questions after 2 hours. I probably feel that, right? So let's come to the governing section, which gives you the power which actually recognize registered valuer. Is the section 247 of the Companies Act 2013. Sir, section 247 empowers you. Sir, आप ये क्यों पढ़ा रहे हो? इसमें 4 सेक्शन है और उस चारों सेक्शन में we will discuss a lot. You will find new things. I guarantee that, sir. So please be with me, and please, I again request, the chat box is popping up, so I getting a little bit distracted. So I request not to write on the chat box. You can use WhatsApp for the purpose of attendance, right? Sir, section 247. Let's come to section 247 directly in the Companies Act. Okay, sir, section 247 has 4. Just a moment. In the meanwhile, it is opening up. Sir, the section 247 has 4 subsections. Okay, and 4 subsections. There are a lot to learn about it, and we are missing it. I guarantee that, sir. Previously, you are reading section 247 as a student, but now read it as a registered valuer, because this section is the governing section, giving you the power of how you are going to do evaluation. This particular section gives you power. This particular section recognizes you, giving you the respect you as a registered valuer. So let me come to directly the section, right? Valuation by registered valuer. Right. I hope the screen is visible to you. Sir, let us read and then we'll understand the provision. Okay. Okay. Fine. Where a valuation is required to be made in respect of any property, stock, shares, debentures, security or goodwill or any other asset, or net worth of a company, or its liability under this provision. Sir, what is new in this? Just give me 2 minutes, sir. Just focus what I'm saying. Sir, where evaluation is required to be made, यहाँ इसको काट के I write asset. Let me write asset. So where a valuation is required in respect of asset or the net worth of a company or its liability under this provision. Sir, one thing is for sure, a registered valuer is only, its work, its assignments and its scope is only limited to the Companies Act 2013. You are not eligible to act as a valuer for Income Tax Act, or you are not eligible to act as a valuer for Banking Regulation Act or any other purpose other than Companies Act 2013, because it is clearly saying that a valuation is required only to be made by a registered valuer for asset or net worth or liability of company. So one thing is for sure, that you cannot do valuation for income tax. Right? Now let me go to the slide. Sir, we as a valuer always think that we need to value an asset. we need to value an asset. Sir, but we always consider that we need to value an asset. हमें asset अपना value करना है. I request please, okay, please mute yourself. So we always consider that we have to value our asset, like plant and machinery, land and building. Sir, what about the net worth? What about the valuation of liability? We are not at all imagining the potential in valuing a net worth of company or valuation of liability. Sir, you are eligible, sir. Sir, you are eligible for. Okay, Bhavdi sir, I'll unmute you. Please, I'll unmute you. Wait a minute. Sir, we are all only considered up. We are already focusing ourselves on valuation of equity, valuation of land, building, plant, and machinery. Sir, what about the net worth? I am going to give you a very, you will be shocked to see. Most of them you will be shocked to see what I am going to tell you right now. Okay, sir, please tell. Okay. Sir, there is a form MGT7. There is an annual form which every company, please, land and machinery, land and building and plant and machinery. Since you must not be aware of this form. I'm telling you, there is a form MGT7 available, and it has to be filed by all the companies, private or public. They have to file it annually. Every year they have to file it, sir. And in this MGT form 7, there is a requirement of net worth of a company, and that is important. That's it, mandatory. It says mandatory. You have to give turnover and net worth of company. Sir, there are 11 lakh companies, active companies in India, and there are 3,000 registered valuer. Imagine. There is no clarification regarding from Company Act or Ministry of Corporate Affairs. I have mailed them. I have mailed to RBOs and Company Act, ROC and IBB also, to clarify if the net worth mentioned in MGT 7, if the net worth mentioned in MGT 7 should be valued by a registered valuer or not. Sir, 11,000 company, I am talking about 5 lakh rupees per registered valuer a year. And just a game of 5 minutes. Please. Sir, I am talking about 5 lakh rupees. Every registered valuer will earn. And there is no mention, it is not mentioned that security and financial assets valuer will only value it. A plant and machinery and land and building can also value it. And it is not being discovered, it is not being observed, what I am talking right now, right? So I'll invite two people right from here, from the members, who wants to discuss about it, specifically the company secretaries or chartered accountants here, who want to add some, because this is my opinion. I feel that MGT 7 requires, serial number 5 requires net worth of a company. And section 247 specifically says that where a valuation is required for an asset or net worth of a company or the liability, only a registered valuer can do so, right? Only a registered valuer can do so. So anybody who wants to add something, or he wants to give his views regarding this particular professional opportunity. Sir, this is a professional opportunity. I'm telling you, 11,000 companies are incorporated in India. Only 3,000 registered valuer. If every valuer, 500 companies will come into the bunch of every valuer. And if you
take, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. As of now, we will update the net worth based on the audited balance sheet, because it has a lot of other implication in the liability side, accounting standard, auditing standard, and also how far. I mean, we have to see the side effects of changing this policy also. No, I too wish valuer should get assignments
Sure.
we need to fill the net worth based on the independent valuation report.
Right.
Then we need to change in company law, accounting standard, income tax and all, because the income tax also will go up then. Okay, that is my view. So
Sir, right. Sir, section 2 subsection 57, section 2 subsection 57 of Companies Act, right? Just a minute, sir. A very good point you have raised, sir. And I just require the debate only, because I am trying to, find out the way which I can earn money from this, because my scope is limited. I have seen many of the valuers have not even started a work. So where I'll find my work, sir? This section, sir. Sir, you can unmute yourself. Sir, this section, section 2 subsection 57 says what is net worth, right? And in nowhere in MGT 7 help kit or the section dealing with MGT 7 or the rules, governing rules, talks about that net worth, that MGT 7 net worth, जो MGT 7 net worth आपका दिया हुआ है, ये जो net worth है सर, ये this shall not be valued by a registered valuer. सर ये स्पेसिफिकली नहीं लिखा हुआ है, बट ये स्पेसिफिकली लिखा हुआ है कि सेक्शन 247 says where a net worth is required under Companies Act, a registered valuer will do. Sir, we are missing a very potential earning. Sir, please go ahead. Rajiv sir, you want to say something here? Any views on this, sir? Because this is my opinion that and I am doing research where, and I'm trying to find kahan net worth is required in Companies Act. Kahan likha hai net worth is required, and there I'll ask.
Also, how do you value this net worth? So would you apply a liquidation method? Would you apply a going concern method? You will do a FCFE, you will apply an income approach. What will you do?
Your answer is already in Companies Act section 257, section 2 subsection 57. It says net worth means the aggregate value of paid up capital and all reserve created by out of profit.
But then it means that we are just writing the book value there, right? So book value net worth.
Right.
Then why will somebody pay us for doing this net worth?
Sir, why we should say like this? I am trying to find a work for you. Why should we say? Why somebody will ask us? Sir, it is a mandatory requirement in the law. See form 4.
No. Try and understand what I'm trying to ask you is that you were saying that somebody will come to us and say that there is a net worth which is stated in my balance sheet, and you just certify my balance sheet on your letter.
No, not the balance sheet, only the net worth. I will issue the net worth certificate only.
No. So how will you calculate the net worth? You will calculate the net worth by looking at the balance sheet.
We will calculate as per section 2 subsection 57 of the Companies Act. It says aggregate value of paid up capital and free reserves is your net worth.
No, but that number will come from either the provisional balance sheet or the audited balance sheet, right?
Sir, it will come from audited balance sheet because MGT 7 you upload the audited balance sheet there. Yes.
Right, sir. So what he says is, so based on the value report, the balance sheet will change. He says the statutory auditor has to change the balance sheet. Sir, so you represent the real value. You are saying don't report the book value, report the actual values in receivable, payable, in assets, land, everything.
No, that is not what he is saying. That is not what he is saying. I think what Rajiv is, what Mr. Chaudhary is saying is that you just have to. So it is the same number that will come here, which is appearing on the balance sheet. Does that somebody will there is a requirement that number has to be or attested on a valuer letter. That's it, right?
Sir, it is a mandatory requirement.
Sir, your point well taken. Presenter, the only question I have, I think this is very important. Have you ever come across a case where you have discussed this with a company secretary or a company and you have told them this is what
sir, ma'am, I have discussed this with the company secretaries and the lawyers also. They don't have any idea. They said, yes, as per the law, it should be done, but we don't do because of the reason, because we are doing it from 3 years. We are simply company secretary or chartered accountant simply writing the net worth. But what I'm saying, ma'am, please understand what I'm trying to say. Sir, देखिए, I also agree that is ये गलती से आया होगा या law का intention नहीं होगा यहाँ पर asset valuer को. But the section is saying, sir, where evaluation or net worth is required.
So let us assume that the section is saying this, and let us assume that this is a requirement. Right?
Sir, we cannot assume. Sir, we cannot. Sir, please, we cannot assume.
I'm saying,
sir,
okay, I'm saying,
huh.
okay, let section is saying that there is a requirement of attesting the net worth of the company by a registered valuer, right?
Right, sir.
My only limited question to you is that if you are saying that this net worth of the company will come from the audited balance sheet, which has already been certified by a chartered accountant.
Right.
So,
and you have to write
excuse me, as per Company Act, is it to certified by registered valuer only or both can certify?
Sir, can I speak, please? I think this is, in this way we'll not be able to have a discussion. So I think let one person speak and then the other person.
And Gandharv sir, and this is my opinion. I'm not getting concluded. I'm not giving any conclusion.
No, I am just
trying to. It is a good debate.
No, I understand that.
Explore our word.
No, I understand that. That is why I'm having a debate. That is why we all are here. I think we need to know and we need to understand and conclude as a community that if we are saying that this is a requirement, then what is the requirement? We should be clear in our head, right? And if there is a requirement, then how to approach the clients, right? That is
Gandharv
the requirement.
Sir, right. Gandharv sir,
my only question, my one limited question. Okay.
Sir, one small note from my side. Section 247 does not define net worth. You will have to consider the net worth, the definition of net worth as per section 2 subsection 57 to judge the net worth, the word net worth written in section 247. I think I have given you the answer.
Sir, let me ask you what I was trying to ask you. I understand you have told me that the net worth will be the aggregate of the paid in capital and the reserve and surplus as per section whatever is written. I'm just asking you one question, that if you are saying that the same number, the book net worth will come here, we don't have to revalue the net worth. There is no requirement of revaluing the net worth, right? So if the book net worth will come here, then why would somebody pay us to just give it on a letterhead? So I will just copy that number from the. I will not do any duty. Sir, try it.
Sir,
let me complete my question. No. Let me complete my question.
Please quickly complete your question. You are taking too much
please,
time.
because yes, sir, because we have less time, so please.
To cover otherwise, whether we should go for a question hour later on.
Sir,
first
finish
your
then
we'll go for question hour.
Sir, he says net worth will have value B, but balance sheet will have a value C.
Sir, Ram sir, I got your point.
First you finish your presentation and we should have a question. We will write down the question and we will, during question hour, we will discuss all these things.
Sir, I am not, I am not giving any kind of conclusion. I am just opening your minds that we have not considered the word net worth. Sir, why we say that, why other company will not pay, the company will not pay us? Why we say? Sir, it is a legal requirement in the Companies Act. They have to pay. They have to pay for the certificate if it is required. Sir, I am just simply saying that if there are 11 lakh companies, more than 11 lakh companies registered, incorporated in India. If every company will give you 1,000 rupees, imagine how much money you're getting. I'm not talking about money also. Let's leave it. But still, there's a requirement of net worth, sir. And there is nowhere written in section that this net worth will not be done by this net worth calculation will not be done by a registered valuer. It is not specifically mentioned, but it is mentioned that section 247 that wherever net worth is required, registered valuer will do it. I'm just trying to say this.
Sir, my only limited question is the registered valuer feels that the book net worth is not the right net worth. So if registered valuer feels that,
sir,
okay,
sir, what do you mean net worth of a company? What do you need by net worth of the company, sir?
Sir, I'm saying what do I mean by net worth with the company is just that what the company is worth, right? Net worth means what the company is worth. If you
so section 247, what is saying?
I'm saying if a valuer has to value a net worth, he should look at what is the real net worth, not the book net worth. So I'm saying that if the valuer is...
Sir, how are you saying that, sir? Sir, wait. Sir, how are you saying that, sir? Section 2, subsection 57 says what is net worth? Sir, how you assuming things that net worth means the real net worth? Sir, you are saying cost approach. Replacement approach. Please don't get confused about the replacement value. Replacement, the approaches of valuation. The approaches of valuation.
No, anyhow, I understand. So I think I got the answer to my question. I think.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I'm just trying to explore the areas where you can earn, sir. Please.
Sure. Thank you.
हाँ, बस I'm just trying this, sir. आप इसको सोचिए कंपनीज एक्ट में कहाँ पर है, सर. ये हमारा हम बहुत सारे वैल्यूअर्स हैं जो पैसा नहीं, अभी एक भी उन्होंने असाइनमेंट नहीं किया. And I'm trying to tell you कि यहाँ पर available है. And we are also not considering liabilities, sir. We are only concentrating ourselves on this.
My question is why valuer are not getting inquiry for this to work?
Sir, the reason is there are limited. I'll tell you that you will get the answer, sir. Your answer later on I'll give you, because there are limited provisions, sir. Limited provisions of Companies Act which requires our help. That is why I'm trying to explore things. कहाँ में मेरी जरूरत हो सकती है. I'll come to your answer. I'll come to your question, sir, and you will get answers. ठीक है, sir. We are also not concentrating about the liabilities. What are the liabilities? There are two kinds of liabilities, sir. We have to value the liabilities also, sir. Section 247. It says. I hope you will find something good, sir. It says not only the asset, not only the net worth, but it says about the liability also. Whenever the registered value is appointed, its duty is also to compute the liability when the appointing authority will ask. So we should not concentrate ourselves only for the asset. I am trying to open up your mind, sir. This is my opinion. We are not concentrating on the net worth. The word net worth used in, although I have mailed to the Secretary MCA, to IBBI Executive Directors, to RVO, Divya Jyoti Foundation, ICA RVO, please clarify if MGT 7 requires the help of registered valuer or not. I have mailed them. I have not received a reply till now, although it's a week only. So I will wait for this answer and I'll let you know. So, sir, there are two kinds of liabilities. One is non-financial liability. Non-financial liabilities are warranties, environmental liability, asset retirement obligation, contract liabilities. Sir, we have to value them. We have to value them. You have to value the warranties. What is warranty, sir? If the particular, when I do a sale, it goes with a warranty. The warranty is I will replace this particular asset if it has any defect. Let's say a tire industry. A tire, you have purchased a tire and it got a cut and it is under the warranty. So you get a replaced. So the company will value warranty, and sir, who will value it? You will value it, sir. You will value the environmental liability, the chemical industries or the other industries who are polluting the environment. They have, if the government sends them notice, they have to value the liability. So what I'm trying to cover here, and the financial liability also. The financial liability is under Ind AS 109. You can understand financial liability and refer IVS. I'm not stretching this topic. I'm just trying to cover. Had it been certificate required by RV, then help kit mentioned it. Sir, help kit, why help kit mention it, sir? I'll come back to your question, sir. When section is specifically saying registered value is required, then why we need to look help kit? Help kit is just a rule. It is supported by the act, right? And by the way, help kit mein nahi likha hua hai. Yes, if we see Toyota, Nissan financials, yeah, very good, Ramji. We could see Toyota warranty expenses provisions there. Sir, who is doing it? We have to do it, sir. So what I'm trying to say, sir, we have read section 247 only for the purpose of asset. Most of us, sir, read only for the purpose of asset. We have not discovered that yes, net worth is also there, liability also there. Most of them. I'm not saying all of them. Most of them, right? Okay. So I will not stretch too much for subsection 1. Now I am going to subsection 2. What subsection 2? I have a problem in subsection 2. I have a problem with this. I was not able to understand clause D. So sir ये clear हो गया कि मैं आपको सिर्फ ये बताना चाह रहा हूँ asset, net worth and liability आपको करनी है. Now sir I'll take राम जी बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं. I'll take questions at last. थोड़ा सा pop up हो रहा है तो I get distracted. So clause D section 247 subsection 2 clause D. Sir ये मेरे को problem थी कि ये कहना क्या चाह रहा है. I was not able to understand this. This says do not undertake valuation. Do not undertake valuation of any asset in which he has direct or indirect relation or becomes so interested at any time during a period of 3 years prior. ये मेरे को समझ में आया. मेरा 3 साल पहले कोई relation नहीं होना चाहिए. Sir, what this means? 3 years after the valuation of asset was conducted by him. Sir, I was appointed by. Acha, one more thing. The appointment authority for registered valuer will be audit committee. If there is absence of it, audit committee, then board of directors will appoint you. So please take appointment letter from board of directors. Please take management representation from board of directors, and please also see the person who is signing your letter should be MD or the person who is authorized by the board is signing for you. Please remember that it will be a working paper for you. An engagement letter and the management representation letter, if you're getting from MD, it's okay, or audit committee, okay. But who is signing it? If an executive director is signing it, so you should take care. You should take a resolution from them that in all the aspect of this valuation assignment, this person will sign all the communication between you and all the communication made by the company, because the authorization is very important there, even the board, right? Sorry, let's come to 247 subsection 2 clause D. What it says? It says do not take valuation of any asset which he has a direct or indirect interest in corporate books, which he has a direct or indirect interest or become so interested during a period of 3 years prior to his appointment as a valuer. Sir ये समझ में आता है मेरे को. मैं 3 साल पहले related नहीं था, interest नहीं था मेरा, तो मैं काम नहीं कर सकता. But what about this 3 years after the valuation was conducted by him? Sir ये कैसे बता दूं मैं? आज कैसे बता दूं मैं? आज मैं कैसे बता दूं कि 3 साल बाद क्या होना है, 3 साल पहले क्या होना है? ये कैसे बता दूं? और sir, interesting thing is I found this. Sir, rules. Okay, sir, my Kamrakan sir is saying my audio quality is not getting good. So can you hear me? Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, it is okay.
Okay, thank you.
बिल्कुल ठीक आवाज आ रही है. बिल्कुल
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, model code of conduct. यहाँ पर देखिए एक मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता ये क्या चक्कर हो रहा है. मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट रूल्स कहते हैं यू हैव टू डिस्क्लोज द क्लाइंट पॉसिबल सोर्सेज ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स ऑफ हिज ड्यूटी एंड इंटरेस्ट व्हाइल प्रोवाइडिंग अनबायस्ड सर्विसेज, एंड a valuer shall not deal in securities of any subject company after any time he or it becomes aware of the possibility of his association with the evaluation. मतलब, और सर ऊपर सेक्शन कह रहा है you cannot, you should not, यहाँ लिखा है you should not take, you deny the job of company for whom you have worked for. Sir, Umesh sir, you are talking about 3 years prior. I am saying when it's saying let's us read again. That is the problem. We have not read this section properly. We have not given the due importance to the section. It says during a period of 3 years prior. Sir, I was a employee of a company. Okay, I know. But what about this 3 years after the valuation of asset was done by him? 3 years after the valuation of assets conducted by him. मतलब आप 3 साल पहले, मैं समझ गया 3 साल पहले मैं अपॉइंटेड था, मैं नहीं कर सकता हूँ, बट मेरे वैल्यूएशन के बाद 3 साल तक मैं उस,
because if you take up a job in that company on the basis of a favorable valuation, you should be debarred from it.
Satish sir, how you know? Satish sir, how you know? How you know?
I tell you how we know. Because suppose you have done a valuation for a company for a land and building option. And on the basis, and you have given them some favors in the valuation because it's a very dicey subject. And on the basis of that, the group of directors or whatever, they find you favorable. अच्छा ये अभी तो किया है, अब आगे वाली जो हमारी बाकी assets हैं, उनको भी ऐसे ही करेगा, इसको employ कर लो.
So you know
Sir,
that
employer
you
कर ही नहीं
are
सकते valuation. Sir, a valuer can, a employer valuer cannot do valuation. Employer नहीं कर सकता है.
You are not under
not as an
employment.
employer.
You cannot do valuation
After
when you are
having
employed.
done the valuation, you are not associated with the company or whatever 3 years prior to that. But after you have submitted the report, you should not be associated with the company.
Sir, what we have missed here, I'll tell you. I got your point, sir. What we have missed here, it talks about asset, not the company. Sir, it is talking about the
All
asset
companies
of not
only
the company.
do have assets, na?
No, sir. Sir, it is talking about the assets of the company you have valued. Sir, a valuer should not take valuation of any asset if he has direct or indirect or become so interested at any time.
Agreed,
Sir,
agreed. I'm
sir,
trying to give my viewpoint on this. Supposing if you think asset is held by a company only, na? A company has, you have no association with the company as on date, right? You do a valuation, a large valuation, and they find and they get the asset valuation of only a particular asset. They have pan-India presence maybe. They have asked you to do the valuation of their assets in Delhi. And supposing on the basis of that, and they find you favorable. So they offer you, okay, you have done a valuation. Now you are not connected with us 3 years prior to this. But after this, because I have worked in a conglomerate, I know. Right. See, when they have a pan-India or maybe international presence, they get the valuation done on this particular date. And after that, they offer you some job or some consultancy, this thing. And they tell you, okay, you have done this for Delhi. Likewise, you do it for Bombay. Likewise, you do it for this thing. So just to restrict that, they have laid this clause at least 3 years from that date of valuation.
Sir, this clause is saying you should not undertake any valuation. Okay, what you said, it's your view. I concur. I agree with that, and I have one submission also, sir. So Satish sir, what you said, I got your point. Yes, this might be one of the reasons, sir. This might be one of the reasons that you should not get some kind of job or you do some valuation for the purpose of getting job or consultancy in the firm, right, sir? This is one point I have noted it. The second point, which I feel is that you should not buy that asset also. Sir, you should not directly buy the asset also after 3 years, because it says,
yes.
Sir, yes, because it
you should
says
not acquire that asset.
Yes, even after 3 years, you should not acquire that particular asset directly or indirectly, sir.
Yes.
And one more submission, sir. One more submission is, sir, for chartered accountants and company secretaries specifically, and the CMAs, sir, there are classes of equity. This is my view, sir. It is not clear. That is why I'm saying a very valid point has raised by Satish Bogra, sir, and I have noted it. Say in next lectures, I'll include this thing also. Very good example, sir. My submission is there are different number of assets. There are different number of class of equities. If I suppose I am having a class of equity, and there is a different class of equity I have to value, then also this will apply. I feel this, sir. I feel this. If I am having a class of equity, I cannot value the same class of equity because I have become interested in that asset. It is what I suppose. That is an open debate, sir. The section, the provision is not clear. A very good point raised by Satish Bogra, sir. Anybody else wants to add there? Because I want this particular debate, this webinar to be very interactive, because we are trying to find our scope of work. And one of the work I have just given you a clue that net worth, right? So I'll end up this particular subsection D, that what 3 years after means. 3 years prior, it's okay, but what 3 years after means. Bogra sir has given his view, very apt, I would say, example. I have also given a view that you cannot purchase the asset because it is saying valuation of any asset in which he is directly or indirectly interested. right? And the class of security. Okay, let me come to this section, this subsection. Sir, I received many calls. They asked me, sir, I got a, how much money should I take? And people say, registered valuer says, I charge 25,000 minimum because the penalty is 25,000. Right, sir? Most of us, I'm not saying all, most of us says कि minimum fees 25,000 होनी चाहिए क्योंकि section 247 में 25,000 rupees penalty लिखी हुई है. Sir, there's a nuclear bomb which will just explode after reading this. Sir, subsection 3 says if a valuer contravenes the provision of this section, not this section only, the rules also. If a valuer contravenes the provision of this section or rules made thereunder, a valuer shall be likha hua yani compulsory mandatory, he shall be punishable with a fine which shall not be less than 25,000 rupees, but which may extend to 1 lakh. Iska matlab, if there is any contravention of this section, even the rules, you have not contravened the section, but you have contravened the rules, then also section 274 subsection 3 penalty will be activated, and it shall be, the word is shall, 100% mandatory, it will be, right? Penalty कितने की लगेगी? 25,000 to 1 lakh, which may extend to 1 lakh, right? Everybody is clear? Okay, sir. But what the proviso is saying? Sir, proviso is saying कि ऊपर जो लिखा है पहले मुझे पढ़ो फिर ऊपर समझो. क्या लिखा है सर? Provided that if the valuer has contravened such provisions with the intention to defraud the company or members, he shall, again the shall has been used, he shall be punishable with imprisonment which may extend to 1 year, with a fine not less than 1 lakh to 5 lakhs. मतलब अगर fraud का intention था तो there shall be imprisonment which may, minimum नहीं बताया, maximum बताया, which may extend to 1 year, 1 साल से ज्यादा नहीं हो सकती है, 1 साल से कम हो सकती है, with a fine of 1 lakh to 5 lakh rupees. So if there was no intention, there was not an intention, that 25 to 1 lakh, and if there was intention to defraud, it is found that there was intention to defraud, then we jail and 1 lakh to 5 lakh rupees penalty. Now wait, sir. Wait, let us read subsection 4. The penalty is not yet over. The abhi khel khatam nahi hua hai sir penalties ka. Let me read subsection 4. Subsection 4 says, where a valuer has been convicted of subsection 3, यानी subsection 3 में अगर conviction हुआ है, अगर subsection 3 में conviction हुआ है, यानी intentional हो या unintentional हो सर, मैं डरा नहीं रहा हूँ, I'm just awareing you. अगर intentional हो चाहे unintentional हो, if penalty is being charged under section 247 subsection 3, he shall be, again shall is used, that mandatory, this section will apply, he shall refund the remuneration, जितना मिला सब रिफंड करिए. अभी भी कहानी खत्म नहीं हुई सर, मैंने पैसा ही वापस कर दिया, 25,000 भी दे दिए, सब कुछ कर दिया, अभी भी कहानी खत्म नहीं हुई सर. Shall be liable to pay the refund the money, refund the fees, and pay for damages to the company. My God, matlab, sir, my penalty is not my penalty is not limited to 25,000 1 lakh rupees. My penalty is not limited to 1 lakh rupees, 1 year jail or 5 lakh rupees. But subsection 4 will also apply. It says that if you are convicted in subsection 3, subsection 4 will apply. You have to refund the money. You have to pay the damages also. See how big it is, sir. How big it is. So registered value says 20,000, 25,000 तो minimum fees होनी चाहिए सर, ऐसा नहीं है. और अभी भी खेल खत्म नहीं हुआ है सर, अभी भी मैं आपको एक चीज दिखाने जा रहा हूँ. You will be shocked. You will be shocked. Sir, section 247 subsection 3 along with section 247 subsection 4 will apply. लेकिन रूल 20 क्या कहता है सर? रूल 20 कहता है पनिशमेंट ऑफ कॉन्ट्रावेंशन. रूल 20 सर ये क्या आ गया सर? सर ये क्या आ गया बता रहा हूँ सर, वेट करिए सर, मैं कुछ भी ना स्लाइड से ज्यादा आपको मैथ पढ़ाऊंगा सर. जस्ट गिव मी अ मिनट सर. पेनल्टीज की बौछार है सर. दिस सेक्शन है, दिस प्रोविजन इज फुल ऑफ पेनल्टीज सर. ये देखिए पेनल्टी ऑफ कॉन्ट्रावेंशन सर. सेक्शन 247 सबसेक्शन 3 अप्लाइज फॉर प्रोविजन एज वेल एज रूल एंड रूल अदर. अभी ये रूल फिर बोलता है without prejudice to any other liability where a person contravenes any of the provision of these rules, he shall be, again my god, he shall be punishable according to the subsection 3 of 469. यानी 469 subsection 3 भी लगेगा. मतलब सर मेरे स्लाइड पे आओ सर. सर रूल 20 देखो सर. रूल 20 कहता है कि अगर कोई रूल, सेक्शन की बात नहीं करता है, रूल की बात करता है. अगर रूल में कोई आपने कॉन्ट्रावीन किया है इन रूल्स का, तो सेक्शन 460 में जाओ, 469 सबसेक्शन 3 में जाओ और वहां जो कॉन्ट्रावेंशन पेनल्टी लिखा है उसको पढ़ो. मैं ले आया सर आपके पास. लेट्स रीड सेक्शन 469 सबसेक्शन 3. सर सेक्शन 469 सबसेक्शन 3 says where a contribution thereof shall be, again shall be, my god, shall be. हम सर रजिस्टर्ड वैल्यूअर रूल्स, जो ड्राफ्ट रूल्स आए थे, उसकी ड्राफ्ट एक्ट आया था, उसकी बात कर रहे थे कि यहाँ पेनल्टीज बहुत ज्यादा हैं. वी आर मिसिंग हियर, देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ पेनल्टीज हियर आल्सो. सर सेक्शन 469 सबसेक्शन 3 सेज a person shall be punishable with a fine which may extend to 5,000 rupees, and if the contravention is continuing nature then 5,000 rupees per day. इसका मतलब सर सेक्शन 247 सबसेक्शन 3 में कहानी खत्म नहीं हुई. सेक्शन 247 सबसेक्शन 4 में कहानी नहीं खत्म हुई. रूल 20 में जाके देखिए पनिशमेंट ऑफ कॉन्ट्रावेंशन लिखा है और अभी भी कहानी खत्म नहीं हुई सर. क्या बात कर रहे हो सर? यस सर, अभी भी कहानी खत्म नहीं हुई सर. कैसे सर? ये रूल तो देखा ही नहीं सर. रूल 21 क्या कहता है सर? रूल 21 क्या कहता है सर? रूल 21 आइए. Punishment for false statement. There's another punishment. What it says? Sir, it says if any report, certificate or other document required by or for the purpose of the provision of the act or the rules, यहाँ पर act भी बोल दिया provision का और rule भी बोल दिया, made thereunder or these rules, any person makes a statement which is false. इसका मतलब defraud of company, section 247 subsection 3 proviso की बात कर रहा है. अगर वहां पर कोई कॉन्ट्रावेंशन हुआ था कि you have defrauded because the intention is to fraud, then this rule will apply also, क्योंकि यहाँ भी वो बंदा आ जाएगा. It says that section 448 पे जाओ. पेनल्टी जाननी है तो section 448 पे जाओ. You have to go to section 448 for this. Okay, let us go to section 448. Okay. सर सेक्शन 448 क्या कहता है सर? सर 448 कहता है if the amount of fraud is less than at least 10 lakh या उससे कम है, या 1% of turnover whichever is lower, इनमें से जो भी lower था, then there will be imprisonment which shall not be less than 6 months, but it can extend to 10 years and shall be liable. प्लीज आप ऊपर अटेंडेंस मत दीजिए. बिकॉज आई एम अगेन चेकिंग ये क्या हो रहा है. आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू टेल अबाउट पेनल्टी, आई एम जस्ट अवेयरिंग यू कि पेनल्टीज क्या क्या हैं. सो 10 लाख या 1% से कम अगर फ्रॉड है तो 6 months और इट में एक्सटेंड टू 10 years. And you have to give 1%. The person who has done fraud has to give as a penalty 3 times of the fraud. 3 times of the fraud. And if the fraud in question involves public interest, then the imprisonment shall not be less than 3 years. मतलब 3 साल minimum बता रहा है, maximum की बात नहीं कर रहा है. And अगर वो fraud 10 लाख से ऊपर या 1% of turnover से ऊपर है, then it will be the fine will be 50 lakh rupees, sir. 50 lakh rupees. So I'm just awareing you, इसको डरा नहीं रहा हूँ मैं, I'm just awareing you कि यहाँ पर कितनी कितनी penalties हैं. अगर मैंने एक चार्ट बनाने की कोशिश की है सर यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा, कि अगर कॉन्ट्रावेंशन अनइंटेंशनल हुआ है तो रूल 20 अप्लाई होगा, रूल 274 सबसेक्शन 4 अप्लाई होगा अनइंटेंशनल में, और रूल 2469 की बात करता है. अगर इंटेंशनल है तो रूल सेक्शन 274 सबसेक्शन 4 भी अप्लाई होगा, रूल 20 भी अप्लाई होगा क्योंकि बिकॉज इट इज कॉन्ट्रावेंशन, एंड रूल 21 भी अप्लाई होगा. वो सेक्शन 448 की बात करता है और 447 में जाके कहता है कि पेनल्टी क्या है. Right? So this was all about penalties. I've just tried to cover it, not just because आपको मुझे डराना है कुछ ऐसा करना है. I am trying to answer your question जो बहुत ही frequently आता है, सर 25,000 penalty है तो I should charge 25,000. I will charge 25,000 rupees because 25,000 रुपए penalty है. Right? Okay. So I'll discuss about good audit report. I'll tell you, and how you will save your skin. I'll also tell you as per my opinion. Sir, one interesting fact I want to, before going for a break of 5 minutes, one interesting fact, sir, I want to here mention. The interesting fact is the rule 16, sir. Please read this rule 16 with me, along with me. You will find it very interesting. A complaint may be filed against registered valuer or registered valuer organization before the authority. Before the authority means IBBI. Should I write IBBI? I should write IBBI. Before the authority, IBBI. It is very interesting, sir. A complaint may be filed against registered valuer or RVO before IBBI in the person or by post courier along with non-refundable fees in favor of the authority. The authority shall examine the complaint and take necessary action. इसका मतलब registered valuer, if he found if any complaint has been received, that IBBI will act on it. Everybody is clear? Yes sir, IBBI will act. It's okay sir, कोई problem नहीं है. और यहाँ पर shall लिखा है sir. So only IBBI will act. Only IBBI will act when there is a complaint against registered valuer. Provided पढ़िए sir, proviso पढ़िए sir, मजा आएगा sir. Proviso कहता है in case, मैं कुछ इशारा करूंगा आप लोग समझ जाइएगा क्या इशारा कर रहा हूँ. In case complaint has been received against registered valuer who is a partner of partnership entity or director of a company. मतलब RVE registered value entity का partner है या director है उस company में, then the authority may, sir, may refer complaint to the relevant RVO and such RVO shall conduct complaint. If somebody can catch me what I have tried to say, I am trying to say if you are individual registered valuer and you doing valuation, then IBBI shall act on the complaint received by them. But in case you are, Umesh sir बताता हूँ, in case you are a partner of RVE, registered valuer entity, any partnership, or you are director of a company, then there is a chance that the complaint can be shifted to the case may be shifted to RVO, and RVO will take the action. So what I try to say to you, I hope I'm clear. If anybody wants to add something here, they can add, but it is, I don't know why this may and shall is there. Why for individual registered valuer, why the power is with IBBI only. IBBI can act, IBBI has to act, but in case of a director or a partner of a valuer entity, why there is a may word used, that why the power can be shifted to registered valuer organization. I fail to understand this. So I probably feel better. Sir, Umesh sir, I will take questions after half an hour. don't worry sir, I'll try to. देखिए मैं I am not perfect in valuation, पहले बता दूं. This is my opinion, what I am telling you. So I'll try to answer you. और नहीं कर पाऊंगा तो पढ़ के दूंगा, मुझे कोई इसमें शर्म नहीं है. ओके तो अभी मेरा वो खत्म हो जाएगा, मतलब मेरा एक कंसंट्रेशन और फोकस थोड़ा खत्म हो जाएगा, इसलिए आई एम नॉट टचिंग योर क्वेश्चन सर. सर मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि क्या पार्टनरशिप बना के ज्यादा बेहतर है. सेक्शन 16 को हम लोग थोड़ा सा एडवांटेज ले सकते हैं. मैं कुछ आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल दैट if being a partner I might be little bit secured, but doing it individually the case will be taken up by IBBI only. Why this provision is there, I don't know. They should either use shall in both of the statement or may in the both of the statement. I don't know why they have used it. Anybody has any reply for this or answer or opinion, you can rate. Ketan sir, please unmute yourself. You can say if it is particular related to this only.
In this particular clause, nobody is informed about the OPC, 1% company. Could you please?
Sir, it is unusual. हाँ सर OPC देखिए एंटिटी में रूल्स में लिखा हुआ है. वैसे आप बात सही कह रहे हो, रूल्स में ये नहीं लिखा है कि OPC नहीं बना सकते. वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन सर, इट अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. आई विल रीड इट एंड विल आस्क सर. सर OPC की बात कर रही है फॉर प्लांट एंड मशीनरी, लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग. जो उनको नहीं मालूम OPC क्या है सर, 1% कंपनी होती है. इट इज ऑल्सो काइंड ऑफ प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी, बट उसमें डायरेक्टर एक होता है, राइट? तो उसको कहाँ लेके जाएंगे? आई थिंक क्योंकि वो डायरेक्टर होता है सर, केतन सर, ही इज अ डायरेक्टर ऑफ OPC, तो इट शुड बी गोइंग टू सेकंड. वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन सर, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. What is the minimum fees, sir? I'll try to answer after half an hour. I'll try to cover half an hour. Sir, now the question is, sir, section 247 defines. Section 247 says that wherever evaluation is required for land, for asset, net worth or liability, residual value do. So where IBBI came into picture? IBBI आया कहाँ से? When company MCA, ROC is dealing with us, ROC has defined us, Company Act has defined us, where IBBI came into the picture. Sir, section 458. Section 458 empowers government of central government of India to delegate any of its power. To delegate any of its power other than making rules. Yani rules ko central government can only make. Other than rules to regulate the profession of RV, the central government of India with section 458 has empowered or delegated the power to IBBI to regulate this profession. So what I am trying to say is because of section 247 you are getting the respect, you are getting the recognition, and section 458 247 right with section 458 it gives the empowers the IBBI by the central government to regulate this profession, and the rules are very important, sir. Okay, so this was about section 247. I hope you have unveiled some of the specific provisions which we do not generally, I also generally, because I used to teach, that is why I have discovered this fact. So generally we don't take care of it. So my question or my advice is to make a partnership firm or director or a company. That would be much better, right? Okay, so I'll take 2 minutes break. Nitish ji, are you there? Okay, let me see. Please continue session. Unable to join. Okay. Okay. So एक मिनट में actually मेरे गले में थोड़ा problem था, तो गर्म पानी. I'll just give me a minute. And by the way, in meanwhile you can ask your question. Sir, Umesh sir, you are asking question. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, I was just saying that just by spending 1,000 rupees, I can make a false complaint against an
yes, sir.
RV.
Yes, sir.
Let
yes, sir. Absolutely correct.
Decide, and if that is false, I am not going to be punished.
Very good question. Very good question. Sir, very valid point and very good question, sir. Yes, they can do, sir. Even 1%. Sir, there are 100% involved. There are 100% involved. जहाँ पर share transfer हो रहा है, only 1% जिसको बदमाशी करनी थी has raised a complaint in just paying 1,000 rupees, and you explain yourself.
And if the complaint is false, then the person who is putting in a complaint, what action is going to be taken against them?
No action, no action, sir. No action, sir.
So
Sir, no action, sir.
I am just
Sir,
losing 1,000 rupees. I'll make 10 complaints. Okay, I'll spend 10,000 rupees. I'll earn 20,000 rupees from RV business, and I'll make 10 complaints. Let that all the RVs, they just put their time in that particular explanation of complaint, and I'll be doing my work.
I agree, sir. There's no provision regarding companies that, but वो मानहानि दावा आप कर सकते हैं.
Obviously, that
वो आप कर सकते हो, but that is the only issue, sir. That is only the remedy, sir. Very good question. Even sir, when the registered valuer bill was draft bill was there, and they asked for this review, I gave exactly what you said. I said, okay, they will lodge complaints. What action can we take from when they make up false allegations on us? A very good question, sir. And it is unanswered by, I cannot answer this because it is beyond the act is not answering this.
मानहानि का दावा भी अगर मैं 10 लाख रुपया करूंगा ना, तो I have to pay, I think 5 or 7% to the.
Right, sir. Right, I agree, sir. I agree. Correct, sir. Correct, sir. Correct, sir.
So if you are forming a
This
company,
is one of the pitfalls of
would we go for LLP or partnership? Which one is
sir,
better?
Sir, देखिए LLP में I think it is much better because it is for professionals only. I as a chartered accountant I feel, sir, you can make company also, but LLP is a combination of partnership as well as company, and the
For
liability is being
LLP, just a minute. For LLP, both the partners should have registered valuer or only one partner?
Right. A good question, Arun ji. Sir, the rules tell us that if you want to make a company, if you want to make a LLP, if you want to make a partnership, then minimum 3 partners, 3 directors should be registered valuer. It says minimum 3 partners should be registered valuer. For example, if there is a company in which there are 10 directors or 10 partners or 10 आपके LLP में partners हैं, so minimum 3 should be registered valuer in case. And now the question arises, sir, in LLP, the partnership, directorship, company can be formed with 2 directors. What about what then? Then minimum 2 should be registered valuer.
If
Minimum
less than
2
3,
should
then all the partners should be registered valuer.
Yes, if there are 2 partners, sir, then both should be registered valuer. They may be or may not be in the same asset class. But in case there are more than or equal to 3 partners or directors, then minimum 3. This rule says, sir. So it is very, I feel, sir, we should all make LLP, or because combined work is very effective always.
The next question is, suppose we form a company LLP and there are 3 directors, all 3 are registered valuer, and because of some dispute, some partner changed. Then is it possible to change the name of the director immediately?
Right. Sir, as a plant and machinery and land and building, very good question. Although CS and there must be aware about this, sir. You can change the name, the directors. You can change even the address within a day. In case of company and LLP. In case of part, you will find some difficulty because it involves state and it has to go to the particular jurisdiction tribunal or whatever the court it goes. But in case of LLP and partner and director company and LLP, you file a electronic form and you give that this person is getting resigned from the company and other is introducing, or there was 3 directors or partners, now we are 2. So we can do amendments, sir. We can do amendments. Any sort of amendment we can do. But when you form a another question which must be in your mind, that if I form a LLP or company, then if I form a company and LLP, then do I need to register it? Yes, you have to get it registered through Form B, just like you all have submitted Form A and you get a registration certificate in Form C. In the same way, you have to apply for registering the entity in Form B to IBBI, and IBBI will recognize you. Preetham sir, you want to ask some question? Please go ahead. I'm unmuting you. Sir, we cannot hear you. Please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Sir.
I need one clarification. This is regarding the restriction of a registered valuer not to undertake valuation of any asset in which he has a direct or indirect interest, right?
Yes, sir.
So if I have valued some property for during the tenancy of CIRP, and the same property is being asked me to evaluate during liquidation. Same property. So does it
you
come?
You can do, sir. No, sir. You can do, sir. You can do, sir. Okay. Sir, valuation, you have not, there is no interest in the asset right now.
Okay.
Right? Because you have done valuation of particular asset, then again you have got an assignment to value it. So, sir, what happened that there is no interest. Okay. There is no interest that, arised. Good question, sir. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Two more hands are being raised. Sir, we need to cover this thing. So should I take a question at last after in 15 minutes? Because I need to cover it very important thing. Sir, मेरी ज़रूरत कहाँ है? अभी तो आपने सब पढ़ाया. मेरी ज़रूरत कहाँ है, sir? If in land, Pranav sir, I'll take your question. बस मुझे ये खत्म करना है क्योंकि important है. I'll definitely take your question. Sir, मेरी ज़रूरत कहाँ है, sir? Sir, Companies Act की बात कर रहा हूँ. अभी मैं सिर्फ I'm just talking about Companies Act. I'm not talking about IBC. I'm not talking about SEBI. I'm not talking about other act. Just I'm talking about Companies Act, because Company Act says where a valuation is required, registered valuer has to do valuation. Okay. So these are the sections where my requirement is there. Now people say, sir, I'm not getting work. Why? Sir, because there are limited sections which are actually observing your requirement. Which are Nitish ji, are you there? Nitish ji, are you there? Nitish Singhal ji or Kajal ji? Okay. So what are their section? I will go it, summary form I'll go. Sir, Rule 12 subsection 5 of the documentation of the Companies Act, prospectus and documentation says where there is allotment of security, where there is and it is mandatory, and it is equally important for land and building and plant and machinery, sir, also. Bogra sir, you want to say something, yeah?
It's okay. Please go on.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, sir, Rule 12 subsection 5 says allotment of securities for consideration other than cash. What does this mean? Sir, I am a company, I want to issue a share. But for issuing share, you will give me money and I will issue a share, right? This will be a transaction in cash. But let's suppose Bogra sir, Sumit sir approached to me, I am a company, and he said, look, I want to introduce a land in your company and you give shares to me against this consideration, against the land. So when there will be an allotment, of securities for consideration other than cash, yani Sumit sir is not giving me cash, he is giving me property, he is giving me plant and machinery. Even let's say he is a renowned valuer and he came to my company and say, look, I am a renowned valuer, I am a brand, so I will issue him shares because of his brand value, even that. So whenever a company issues a share for consideration other than cash, registered valuer will be required. So the land or building, if land is coming, the land valuer will value the land and will say, sir, the fair value is this, and the share SFA valuer will value the share and say, sir, this is the share value, and then they try to exchange the share against the land. So in this provision, valuer will be required. Section 42 of Companies Act talks about private placement of shares. What are private placements? Sir, let's say I'm a company and I have shareholders, right? I have decided, the board have decided by taking permission of general meeting, special resolution, I have decided to issue my shares to persons who are not in my existing shareholders. I want to issue my shares to somebody else who is not a shareholder of my company. then again registered valuer will be required to value the shares, so that the price of dealing should not be prejudicial to the interest of the shareholders. Correct, sir? Right. So this is second section, section 42, private placement of shares. It requires valuation services. Now, section 54 of Companies Act, it talks about issue of sweat equity shares. Issue of sweat equity shares. What is sweat equity shares, sir? Sir, khoon pasina. Sweat means pasina. Sir, my staff, my directors, they work day and night. They work day and night for my company. उनका पसीना लगा है इस कंपनी, खून पसीना इस कंपनी में लगा है. They have given their blood and sweat for the growth of this company. The directors have given their blood, their time, their sweat to this company, their efforts to the company. Now the company wants to give them reward. Now the company wants to give them shares. When a company issues shares to employees or directors for their efforts, it is known as sweat equity shares. Any company who desire to issue such share can do so at the price determined by registered valuer. So if somebody is working in the company and company wants to give them shares for their efforts, for their labors, for their efforts, then registered valuer report will be required. In this, security of financials, SFA, will be required in this particular section. In 12 subsection, rule 12 subsection sub-rule 5, land and building, plant and machinery are required, and SFA are also required. In 42, probably when their allotment against consideration as a cash only, in rules in section 42, I'm talking about private placement. मैं इसकी बात कर रहा हूँ. Just again, I'm talking about this. Even if there is a consideration, I'm doing private placement against property or plant or asset, then also I need land and building. Sir, समझने की कोशिश करिएगा, आपकी जरूरत कब आ रही है? When you are required. Whenever there is exchange, when there is exchange, and the exchange value is not, the exchange value cannot be determined easily because it does not include cash. So in that point, land and building values are required. Right. Let me come to next slide. Okay. The other slide, the section 177. Sir, 170, who appoints you, sir? For a listed company who have, please इसको बहुत important समझिएगा sir, because it is a working paper of yours. Sir, when there is a listed company who have audit committee, or any company who has an audit committee, then they will appoint you for sure. Okay. So your engagement letter should be signed by them. If there is no audit committee, then please see who is signing it. The accountant should not sign. Any officer should not sign. It is the board of directors. In absence of audit committee, they should sign. The MD should sign. And if other than MD is signing, then there should be resolution in board of directors. The board must decided that so and so person will sign or do all the communication with registered valuer. So because it can be challenged, let's assume that the report got challenged, so at least they can say, sir, ये देखिए किसने sign कर दिया था? Management letter. You backed your report with management letter and somebody else have signed. Accountant has signed the management letter. How will you save your skin? I'll answer your question, sir. I'll take your question, sir. Sir, section 177 says wherever board feels that a valuation should be done, they ask this audit committee, ki, sir, please appoint a registered valuer. We just want to value this asset, whatever the reason may be. We want to value this asset. So 177 is a general section. It can be applied for land and building, plant and machinery, and SFA also. That when there's a requirement of valuing an asset by the board of directors, they will ask the audit committee to please value this asset. This is general section. Now the buyback of shares. Sir, section 67 of Companies Act, buyback of shares. It says you cannot buy back. But 68 says you can buy back. What is buyback? Sir, I am a company. I have excess surplus of cash. मेरे पास excess surplus है cash का, and I want to buy my shares from public. I want to buy my shares. मतलब company buying its own shares to reduce the or restructure their capital. I am reducing my capital. I'm a company. I want to buy back your shares. So I can do it. I can do it, but the rate will be decided by a registered valuer. Again, SFA will be required here. So in case of buyback, registered value is required. Now the question is, sir, you talked about private placement. Sir, you talked about allotment of shares. Sir, what about right issues? Do a company need valuer for right issue? No, sir. Section 62 subsection, if I'm not wrong, section 62 subsection 1 says registered does not talks about, it talks about right issue and does not ask for requirement of registered valuer. So in case of right issue, registered value is not required. Very general questions I encountered so many times. Sir, I am going to issue a right issue. My company is going to for right issue. Should I need your service? No, sir. For bonus issue? No, sir. For debt converting into share? No, sir. You are not required. Right? So buyback of share, when there will be buyback of share?
Excuse me, for buyback share, is it registered valuer required or registered SFA required?
Sir, registered valuer will be required, but since it is connected with, shares and security, then it has to be valued by SFA. Although a good question, Arun sir. Although the company must have assets and assets also. So in case when the registered valuer will use replacement cost method, then he will come to you. Sir, land की इस plant की value निकाल दो. Clear, sir?
If buyback is done by an overseas company of its share of subsidiary in India, doesn't it require to be done, valuation to be done by a merchant banker, category 1?
Sir, now this is a case of FEMA, not Company Act, sir. FEMA is because you file a form regarding FEMA, sir, in RBI, right? In case you file any form in Company Act, then you will be required, sir. Then you will be required. Right. So now section 191, well, Naren sir, very good question. People get confused about this, sir. Thank you for raising it. Many people talk, sir, I have to issue shares to somebody living abroad. So should I need your service for the purpose of FEMA? So sir, purpose is very important. What Naren sir has pointed out is whenever you're taking an assignment, please check the purpose of assignment. It is very important to check purpose of assignment. Okay, we have SP Sharma here, SP Sharma sir here, Chairman DGF. So I'll take 2 minutes leave because my throat is itching from past few days. So SP Sharma sir, can you take up for a minute?
Yes, Chaudhary Sam.
Sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you audible.
Yes. So, respected Ravish Chaudhary Sam, esteemed valuer members and representatives from our DGF RBO, I extend warm welcome to all of you. I hope you are enjoying this CEP session and it is proving to be useful to you. We from Divya Jyoti Foundation, we are trying that we provide you the best possible learning experience and the CEP is really useful to you. As regards to the DGF, our DGF RBO, we are recognized since November 2018, and since then we have enrolled around more than 350 members from all over India. We have representative offices all over India. Prior to this online system of having classes or CEP sessions, we were conducting physical classes, and as long as this goes, we'll follow this, and afterwards we'll have physical classes. So we have more than 350 members, and presence all over India. You are aware that valuation profession is going for a change, and with present framework, it is, I think, easier to become a RVO. After the valuation bill is elected, it will be far difficult. So I would like that more members, more people can join this profession, because there is a lot of scope, and as our Chaudhary Sahab was telling, that we have only 3,000 registered valuers. So this profession needs, we need more members, more valuers. From our side, we are trying our level best to provide you the best support. Your all queries, all requirements are promptly being met, and I hope you are satisfied. Further, I would like to tell our members that you should ensure compliance of all regulations of IBBI, particularly the CEP. It is we have to earn 16 points as early as possible. The members, the registered valuers who are registered valuer as on 31st March, they have to complete this 16 points as the earliest, because of this corona pandemic, all there is we could not hold classes, or we could not provide opportunities to earn the CEP points. So they should do it as early as possible, and other members also who become registered valuers subsequently, they should try to earn the CEP points at the earliest. This is all from me. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you.
One question I want to ask is, suppose anybody from other organization, suppose I am from other organization, so I am attending this class, so my point will be credited to that organization or not?
Yes. We'll give you a certificate, and they will. This is
you are doing for IBBI. Yes, you are doing IBBI. Sir, one more thing, we this Divijyoti has their YouTube channel. All the videos are uploaded there. All the CPE programs are uploaded there, and many other videos are also being uploaded there. So you can also browse you can also subscribe the channel of Divijyoti. It's very good, informative videos are there.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chaudhary.
Giving me 2 minutes so that I can have a cup of tea.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So let's come to section 191. Sir, when there is payment other than in cash to a director by way of compensation. Sir, what is compensation? Sir, let's assume a company acquires another company. In case of Mindtree, this happened. L&T has acquired Mindtree. So when a company acquires other company, so it loses all the directors of the company which they have acquired, transferee company. So we have two companies, let's say ABC company and CDE company. ABC acquired CDE companies. Now since they have acquired CDE companies, so ABC wants their directors to be in the board of directors, in the board, their directors. So what happens? So what happens? Sir, please use chat box for question only, because it pops up and I get distracted. So what happens, sir? Where was I? There was a ABC company and CDE company. ABC wish to acquire CDE and acquired CDE company. Now since ABC has acquired CDE company, what happens? The director of CDE company resigns. कि भैया अब मेरा तो बोर्ड रहा नहीं कि आप तो जो चाहेंगे ABC वाले करेंगे, whatever ABC will say we have to do. So we resign from the company. So when they resign, the ABC company, from the permission, I am using permission and not using technical word, special resolution or resolution. from the permission of their shareholders, they can give compensation. They can give compensation to directors, the resigning directors, the directors which are leaving CDE company. They can give compensation, and if they are giving compensation other than cash, for example, land, I had a land, I've given land to the directors, or shares, even the shares, then again registered valuer will be required to value that. Sir, in case of L&T and Mindtree, 38,000 crore has 38 crores. Sorry, 38 crores have been given to, if I'm not wrong, 38 crores have been given to the directors who were leaving the company. So section 191, when there is a compensation given to the directors other than cash, see, if there will be in cash, you will not be required. But if the compensation is given in form of other than cash, then your requirement will be there. If land is being given, land valuers will be required to value the land. If shares are being given, shares holder will be required. SFA will be required. And if plant and machinery is being given, then plant and machinery valuer will be required. Right? In subsection 192, non-cash transaction involving directors. In case any transaction between company and the director where there is no cash involved. For example, director has introduced a land in exchange of shares, or I have done an expenditure for the company. I am director. I have done expenditure for the company, and for the expenditure, the company don't have cash or money. They have given me a land. In these kind of transaction also your service will be required. See, आप देखिए जहां जहां आप देखिए कहां कहां आपकी जरूरत पड़ रही है, where you are required. आप देखिए कहां कहां आपकी जरूरत पड़ रही है. आपकी जरूरत वहां पड़ रही है when there is a requirement of determining the value of exchange. You try to understand, sir, कहां पर आपकी जरूरत पड़ रही है apart from the legal requirement somewhere. But most of the cases you will find that my requirement is there when a exchange value is being determined. So you will be required to determine that exchange value. And Sumit, Satish sir, if in case when we require the exchange value, always remember there are two parties. One is buying, one is selling. So buying will always say, buyer will always say, मैंने महंगे में खरीदा है, costly में खरीदा. Seller will always say, मैंने सस्ते में बेच दिया. Right? तो वहां पर implications आ सकते हैं. इसीलिए we should be very, attentive while drafting our report. Okay. Section 230. Section 230 talks about restructuring, compromise with creditors, compromise with members. What is compromise? Sir, let's say Rajiv Kumar sir is there. Let's say Rajiv sir, you are a creditor of my company and I am not able to pay you. So what you will say, you come to me and say, look, I have 10, you have to give me 10 crore rupees. I am compromising my money. You give me 5 crores, I'll say, okay. A compromise agreement arrangement is being made between the company, the members or the creditors, between the members or the members. So a compromise arrangement. Sir, I am a creditor, I am a member, I am shareholder. Okay, मेरा share कम कर दो, reduce कर दो. 10 रुपए का share capital 8 रुपए कर दो. So kind of restructuring, kind of compromise is being there. So whenever there will be compromise, sir, when there will be compromise, please note, when there will be compromise between the members and the members, between the shareholders, the members and the creditors, then a report has to be filed with NCLT. What is NCLT? National Company Law Tribunal. And in that, when you submit a form, you have to attach a valuer report along with the form. So section 230 is a requirement where whenever you file a compromise arrangement with creditors or members, or you change your capital structure or restructure your debts, then you have to file, the company has to file a form along with which they have to give a valuer report. Right? Now section 230 talks about merger, acquisition and demergers. Mergers, acquisition, I call it MAD. In short, I call it MAD. mergers, acquisition and demergers, 232. When there will be merger, acquisition or demerger, again a scheme of merger acquisitions has to be filed with NCLT. And when it has to be filed with NCLT, it should be accompanied with registered valuer report. A valuation report must be attached along with the scheme, right? This is about 232. Now there is a section 235 and 236. 235 talks about dissenting shareholders. For example, I am acquiring, Reliance acquiring a company, and 90% of shareholders said, okay, I'm talking about 235, please note, there's a slight difference between 235 and 236. So in 235 section, 235 में requirement नहीं होती है registered valuer की. Registered valuer is not required for section 235. So section 235 says when a company try to acquire a company and 90% of shareholder say, yes, I agree with this company, I am okay. I will share, I will give my shares and this thing will happen. So the company, the acquirer company, let's say ABC wants to acquire CDE and 90% of CDE approves this acquisition, the ABC company can forcefully acquire the remaining 10% of shares. Forcefully, sir, in section 235, and registered valuation report is not required. See. But in section 236, when a company wishes to, when a company already has 90% of shares, I already have a 90% of shares, maybe the reason ki me or a group of person, let's say Satish sir is there, Naren sir is there, Rajiv sir is there, we three have 90% of shares. And now we approach the company ki, see, I want to acquire 10% of shares. Right? I want to acquire minority shares, that is 10% of shares or minority holders. Then in this case, I don't know why in section 235 they have not asked, but in section 236 they have asked. In when I'll go and I'll approach to company ki, see, I am the group of person who are holding 90% of shares and we wish to acquire 10% of minority shares, then a registered valuer valuation will be required under section 236. Purchase of minority of shares. So when a person or group of person having shareholding of 90% or more than 90% and wish to purchase shares from small shareholders, that is minority shareholders, that is less than or equal to 10%, they can do, the acquirer can do, but at which price? At the price which registered valuer has determined. Sir, I have forgot to mention one more section. I have forgot to mention one more section, that is 67 subsection 3. Section 62 subsection 3, which talks about furtherance of share. Section 62 subsection 3 talks about preferential allotment. When there will be a preferential allotment. What is preferential allotment? Sir, I am a company. I have, let's say, मुझे कौन कौन दिख रहा है? SP Sharma sir as a shareholder, Naren sir as a shareholder, Satish Bogra sir as a shareholder, Rajiv sir as a shareholder, and I want specifically, I want to give shares to say Naren sir. I can see only 4 people right now on my screen, that is why I'm blaming you guys. So I want to specifically allot Naren sir. Then I will be requiring registered valuer services. The value should be determined by valuer services. So don't get confused with private placement and preferential allotment. So private placement is when I am issuing share to somebody who is not my existing shareholder. I don't know him. He is not member of my company. So section 42, which we talked about, section 42, just hold on. Section 42 will apply, sir. Section 42 will apply. This section will apply. When I am issuing shares to somebody who is not my member, but in preferential share issue, when I am making issue to somebody who is my member, but I am giving a specific preference to him. For example, the method is right issue. You have to issue a right issue if you want to issue shares, further issue of shares. But I am not doing right issue, so I can issue to selected person of my members only, and that is preferential allotment. Preferential allotment. In case of preferential allotment, that is section 62. That is I forgot to mention section 62 sub clause 3 है या C कहते हैं उसको, वो subsection 3 है, that talks about preferential allotment. In preferential allotment you will be required. So in Company Act, these are the sections. I'll come back to your answer. In Company Act, sir, in Company Act, these are the sections where your requirement is required. Sir, now I have general question, just I'm discussing. Why, how IBBI, how IP is, in the section 62, subsection 1, clause C, sorry. So, sir, how IBBI is appointing registered value? Why? Because IBC is specifically, why liquidation, why the process of liquidation, why IP, insolvency professionals are appointing registered valuer. सर आपने कहा कंपनी एक्ट में रजिस्टर्ड वैल्यूअर जहां जहां जरूरत पड़ेगी वहां कंपनी एक्ट वाले रजिस्टर्ड वैल्यूअर करेंगे काम. Now why IP is appointing a registered valuer? Because in IBC specifically written, when there will be valuation required, IP will appoint a registered valuer. That is why in IBC, when liquidation process is going on, or when the IP start proceeding, they appoint registered valuer because of the provision mentioned in IBC. This is the reason. And many people ask me, sir, a question for chartered accountants specifically and company secretaries and CMAs, sir, there is a transaction between two persons. One person is selling shares to another person. I need your valuation. I said, what is your purpose? They said, sir, my purpose is determining the sale value. Who are the parties? Sir, one party is member of company and the other party is the other member of company. I say, is the person who is buying the shares holds more than 90%? No, sir. Then I say Company Act will not come into force. Income tax will come into force. Section 56 subsection 1, section 56 subsection 2, clause 7b come into action. It talks about when a 7b or x10, it comes into action. When a person is transferring its shares to any other person, registered value is not required. I got many calls, sir. They say, sir, there is transaction between two parties. The company is not involved. 90% to 36 is not involved. So I need your valuation services. I said, I cannot do as a registered valuer, but yes, I can do as a chartered accountant. Even for chartered accountant, if I am using DCF method for 56 subsection 2x, clause x, any 10, उसमें 11 UA में subsection 2 में लिखा हुआ है कि merchant banking करेंगे. In case of the formula, section rule UA में लिखा हुआ है A minus L into PE upon PV. ये chartered accountants कर सकते हैं, but as a registered valuer, no, right? So this is the provisions where your service is required, right? Right issue में आपकी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Between the parties as a registered valuer नहीं जरूरत पड़ेगी, right? Bonus issue में आपकी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. These are the sections जहाँ पर आपकी जरूरत पड़ेगी. This is the reason we are getting less work, because there are limited sections where we required. Day will come, sir. Day will become when income tax will say registered value will be required. Day will come when Banking Regulation Act will say registered value will be required. Nowadays, banks has issued internal circular and they are only appointing registered valuer. It is their internal circular. But Banking Regulation Act has not been changed. They don't require any kind of registered value services, right? So in these are the sections and provisions of the Company Act where your requirement is there. So now it is very important, as Narendra sir also a question हमने पूछा था, purpose of valuation indirectly. So it is very important. Can we use verbal market rates which have no written support company valuation? If yes, court allow the rate, it is accordingly. Sir, the verbal market rate, yes, for association you should have. Achha, I'll tell you. This is I'll tell you, I'll answer your question. Sir, this is A to Z of good valuation report. I have taken it from IBS, I have taken it from ICAI, RVO. They see what are the valuation. Sir, how I have discussed about the penalties, right? I have discussed about the penalties. You were, some of them said, ki sir, why you're telling about penalties? Dara rahe hain kya? And are we here to read the penalties? I was just awareing you. And how to save your skin from the penalty, sir? How to save yourself? Sir, you have to follow the standards. If you have followed the standards, nobody can touch you. The MS Sau, the chairman of IBBI, has said specifically, if you follow the standards, don't worry about the penalties. If you follow the standards, don't worry about the penalties. Sir, I'll answer the questions. Let me finish. So, MS Sau has said, if you follow the standards, don't worry about the penalties. Right? So, what are the standards we have to follow? Sir, rule says the standards will be notified by central government. But till now, no standards has been notified by the central government. And they have said whatever RVO adopt, the RV has to follow. So most of the RVO has adopted IVS, International Valuation Standards. ICAI has adopted ICAI standards, valuation standards. So the members who are registered with ICAI has to do their valuation according to ICAI standards only. But the members who are not the members of ICAI, because this question also comes to me, who are not members of ICAI, they should see what standards does their RVO has adopted. For example, IOV has adopted, specifically written in their website, they have adopted the international valuation standards. If the RVO silent has not adopted specifically, then you can use both any of the standard, because both of them talks almost the same thing, right? So what is valuation report? Sir, I always say, sir, your valuation report should be more of a story than the numbers, sir. More of a story. It should be a comprehensive story. If your report is of 50 pages, 40 pages must be about the story, about the valuation, about the asset, about the macro condition, about the micro condition, right? So because the more you write about the asset, the more you justify your conclusion, the more you justify your valuation, right? So your report, especially for land and building and plant and machinery, sir. I have seen reports we are not using, micro and macro condition. How you came up with the discount rate? Tell me. If somebody, ask you how you come to discount rate. Anil sir, I'll try to answer, sir. I'll try to answer your question. Once I complete this important topic, I'll take answer. If I don't know the answer, or I think I'm doubtful, then I'll take your number and I'll call you back. So sir, especially for plant and machinery, land and building, sir, how you are discounting it? How you concluded that 5% should be discounted, 10% should be discounted? Sir, this discount should come from your story. For example, pre-COVID and post-COVID, there will be a valuation difference. If I appoint Dinesh Sharma sir to, if I appoint Dinesh Sharma sir, आप मेरे land का valuation कर दो sir. He said, okay, I'll do. I approached you on 1st of January, sir. And on 20th of April, I again approached you and said, sir, iska land ka valuation kar do. Same land, sir. Your valuation will be different, sir. Why? Because you will take the effect of COVID, right, sir? Sir, you have to explain in your report why there is a difference, why I am taking conservative approach in my report. Sir, you have to take micro and macro condition. You have to, that is why the reason I teach micro and macro economics for DGF. So my first question is why this particular topic is in your syllabus. The reason is you need to understand and explain in your report the micro and macroeconomic conditions, the internal and external factors which are influencing your valuation, which is influencing your perception, which is affecting your thinking process as a rested valuer. So the more the story will be, the more you will save yourself, right? So what are the must points you should include in your valuation? What are the must points you should include in your valuation? First of all, the purpose. Purpose should be there. Company approached us, even the company don't know purpose many times. They approach us, sir, I want to do a value. I want you to do my valuation. I said, what is the purpose? Sir, what is the need of purpose? Even the chartered accountants approached me, company secretary approached me. They said, you have to do a valuation for this asset, for this shares. I said, what is the purpose? They said, why do you need purpose? I'm giving you work, I'm giving you money, I'm giving you fees. Why are you asking me for the purpose? I said, I need to write the purpose in the valuation report, because when I am valuing under section 236, or when I am valuing under section 42, or section 39 subsection 4 read with rule 12.5, the approach, the attitude, the perception will change, sir. When I am valuing for liquidation purpose, I will try to find distressed value. When I am valuing for ongoing purpose, then my approach will be different. I will use DCF method, the intrinsic value, the characteristics, taking the characteristics of the assets. So purpose is valuation is very important, sir. And by writing the purpose of valuation, you restrict the company. You restrict also the company to use your valuation report in different sense. They cannot use your valuation in any other sense other than the purpose of valuation. The second is appointing authority. You have to mention it. Sir, board has appointed us, or audit committee has appointed us by appointment letter number so and so, for the purpose so and so. So it should be mentioned, date of inspection. Sir, I'll come. Sir, appointing authority should be mentioned. Most of us don't write appointing authority. Who is appointing us? But a good valuation report must points. These are the must points, sir. इसके ज़्यादा हो सकते हैं, इससे कम नहीं हो सकते. And I will not able to share this slide with you. The reason is it is under the copyright. अभी copyright के लिए जा रहा है ये slides. इसमें कुछ और चीजें डालनी है, उसको copyright होगा. So I cannot share right now, but after a week or so I'll share it. I might share it. So you can write down if you want. So appointing authority should be mentioned. Who is appointing you? That letter number, the appointment letter number should be there. Identity of valuer or any expert involved in your valuation should also be mentioned. Specifically when a chartered accountant, company secretary or CMA is doing valuation and they have taken the help of land and building registered valuer or plant and machinery building valuer, plant and machinery valuers, in case they are using replacement value cost approach, then they should mention it is preferable, as I do, make a table, right? Name of valuer, Ravish Chaudhary, name of expert involved, let's say Dinesh Sharma sir, right? So write it so that the user can see, okay, Dinesh Sharma sir is also involved in this valuation. He's a renowned valuer. So the valuation report must be good, and also attach his valuation report as manager. Next is disclosure of valuer's conflict and interest or possible conflict of interest should also be there as per the rule also. Disclose it. Dates, sir, very important, sir. There are 3 kinds of date you need to mention. Date nahi to gaye kaam se. Sir, date, 3 tarah ki date, 3 dates you have to mention it. And I again say, make a table in your report. Date of appointment, date of measurement, the day you are measuring the asset or the liability, and date of signing the valuation report. You should mention it, sir. There are lots of questions like, sir, my validity of my audit report. What will be the validity of my audit report? Sir, the act specifically does not say about the validity, but I'm taking the help of FEMA. I'm taking the help of income tax. So 6 months, 180 days. They have considered 180 days as a validity of your report. Imagine you have forgot to mention valuation date report. What will happen, sir? the report which must be expired after 180 days can be used. So it is very important to write down the dates. There are 3 dates you should mention in a good report. Date of appointment, सब कुछ मत डालिए, ये जरूर डालिए, मतलब बहुत गड़बड़ हो जाएगा सर. Date of appointment, date of measurement, and date of valuation report. Now other question comes, sir, can my date of measurement and date of valuation report signing can be same or should be same? Sir, it can be same. It can be same, sir. But tell me, आपने एक दिन में काम कर दिया क्या? आपने एक दिन में valuation कर दिया क्या? You have done in valuation in just 1 day? Huh? So you can, what I am trying to say, I think you got my point. कि एक दिन में valuation आप नहीं कर पाओगे. आपको जाना है site पे, you have to click photo, you have to consider, you have to check the papers. So you cannot do in 1 day. ठीक है? Sir, due diligence, very important, sir. Very important, sir. Very important.
Excuse me,
sir,
in case of insolvency, what should be these dates?
Sir, the appointment date will be the date you are appointed by IP, and the report you will be asked the report, within 30 days. I am not expert of IP, but I'm just telling you that report has to be submitted to COC within 30 days. So they'll ask you to give the report. So the time signing, the appointment date by IP will be the date of appointment, the measurement, the date you will measure, and the signing date when you sign the report. Sir, due diligence is very important, sir. Very important. So don't miss it.
Sir, sir, excuse me.
Sir.
What type of disclosures? Can you list out few disclosures?
Sir, disclosures is like any disclosure. Like, let's see that my chacha ka bhatija ka bhai is working in a company, in the same company. I've been appointed. Or I have been consultant of a company, let's say. If I'm being consultant of company for past previous 3 years or somewhere, I'm eligible. So I can write disclosure that I was, somewhere I was a consultant to this company. Right.
Excuse me, for IVR cases, insolvency cases, when the CIP date is used to be retained for appointing authority.
Sir, I sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, I have not much experience of, to be very true, I have not much experience of IP cases. I have not handled any one of the valuation report.
Okay,
so
okay.
I will not be the correct person to answer this. I don't want to answer wrong. So it's better to say I don't know about this. So I'll stick to this only. Sir, due diligence, sir. Due diligence is very important, sir. Sir, chartered accountant, company secretaries, and the land valuers and building, plant and machinery, sir. Sir, if you're getting papers, audited balance sheet from the management, still you do public search. Still you give 100 rupees, submit 100 rupees. This is not being done by land and building and plant machinery. Sir, you are supposed to take certified copies from ROC to verify whatever you are getting is correct or not. Sir, you have to get the copies. You take the help of chartered accountants, company secretaries, CMAs. Sir, if the asset involves use of books of accounts, then please don't rely on the balance sheet given by the management. You do your due diligence. You hire a chartered accountant. He will charge 1,000, 2,000 rupees, and he will give you all the ITR, all the balance sheets and MGT 7s and all the AOC 4s. They will give you. You will find the certified copy. It's not certified. Actually, for certified, you have to apply for ROC in specifically for that particular ROC. In case of getting a scan copy from what have been uploaded in ROC, you can get by paying 100 rupees, and the charges will the professional will charge. So due diligence is very important, sir. And if you are using micro and macro conditions, and if you are using beta, determined from a website, you have used a renowned website, Bloomberg or any website you have used to determine the beta, please write the source. Please write the source, right? Now, the information, next point is nature and source of information relied upon. Just like I said, that if you're using any particular research of particular sector, let's say a land and building valuer is valuing a entertainment purpose land, and now he wants to introduce or write some brief about the entertainment industry and what COVID has impacted. So you will copy from a public domain, the research paper from public domain, and then please write the source of information. The source of information you have mentioned, right? You have to write the source of information. I have copied it from this public document, so and so. The website is so and so, right? Oh. Now the very important point is valuation approaches and standards. You all, I encountered with all the valuation report which mention approaches and standards. So I don't think anybody does not follow this particular point. Everybody explains the approaches. Everybody talks about the standards. Everybody apply the standards and discuss about the approaches. Okay. The next point, most of us don't write it, is the restriction. It is very important. The restriction of your valuation report. The restriction of use. Please write, my report can only be used for this purpose. It cannot be used for any purpose. Although you have mentioned the purpose of a report, but still write the restriction clause. The report can only be used for the purpose of this. It cannot be used for other purpose. Please write it. Okay. The next point is major inputs you have considered, the major key points you have considered. What are the major points? What are the major areas? What are major key inputs you have used to determine your valuation? Like circle rate, you are taking circle rate, right? We are taking circle rate for determining the value of my land. And conclusion. What is my conclusion? A good report must have a conclusion, so that the people who don't wish to read 50, 30, 60 pages of report, they can go to the conclusion and they can see, okay, this company is going concern, so we cannot use NAV method or cost approach, there is no company which can be compared with this company, so we have not used market approach since the company is ongoing company and it is expected that in future also it will flourish. So we have used DCF method, and according to DCF method, annexure 1 month so and so, we conclude that the value. We conclude that the value of share is so and so. So conclusion is a must point. You should write the conclusion also. And most of the reports, most of the rested value are write conclusion, right? Now the next point, which little bit save your skin, is the caveat, limitation, and disclaimers. Give the caveat, limitations and disclaimers, like I have relied on the cash flows, given by or the management representations. I have relied on them, so I have made this valuation, right? So but please, it is specifically mentioned that your limitation disclaimer cannot limit your responsibility. You cannot limit your responsibility. I cannot limit my responsibility कि मैं अपनी responsibility disclaimer के through limit कर लूँ. I have seen a report where people write that my limit will be 25,000. In case of any issue regarding valuation report, the maximum fees I have to return is 25,000 rupees. So you cannot do it, sir. You cannot do it. You cannot restrict, because the act itself says you have to pay the damages. So you cannot restrict by just simply writing that my limitation in terms of money, if there is any problem in the valuation report, will be limited to rupees 25,000. No, that cannot work, because you cannot limit your responsibility by using disclaimer, caveat, and limitation. So by this, I just want to say that, sir, being a registered valuer, I am not an expert. I can give you just opinion. This is my opinion, sir. What I try to, fetch you or give you is my opinion. I try to tell you what are the scope we are not even, observing the net worth. Let's try to find kahan Companies Act mein net worth likha hai. I have not yet. I was busy in writing another book of mine, so I could not, make a research on this. कि कहाँ का net worth लिखा है, कहाँ का liability को लिखा है Companies Act में. So try to find the provisions कि where net worth is required in Companies Act, and जहाँ require है, fight for it. Sir, as a valuer, fight for it because ये मेरा अधिकार है. I have to do it. No matter, I agree with everybody, most of you. They have a problem कि sir नेटवर्थ का मतलब क्या है? नेटवर्थ तो वो नेटवर्थ है जो हम लैंड की निकाल देते हैं, रिप्लेसमेंट कॉस्ट. उसके बाद हम प्लांट एंड मशीनरी की रिप्लेसमेंट कॉस्ट निकालते हैं. We find replacement cost of the investments, and then we try to find net worth. Sir, net worth section 252 subsection 57 defined है. So for me, I should not get confused with replacement value or net worth. Net worth is simply defined. What is net worth? Section 257. So wherever in Companies Act net worth is written, please try to find, control F करिए, ढूंढिए और फिर मिनिस्ट्री से पूछिए कि यहाँ तो मेरी आवश्यकता है, यहाँ तो मेरी आवश्यकता. सर काम अपने को खुद निकालना है. IBBI will not give you work. You have to find your own work. Sir.
This is Vaidyanathan from Chennai. On your point on limiting the logically not taking your liability, I would request you to read the Mindspace REIT valuation report by Mr. Sava. I'm not arguing on his behalf. He has qualified maximum liability at 5 crores. Just an information for all the land and building valuers, because this is the first time I came across. Let me complete, sir. Came across a valuation report which the valuer, who is a registered valuer of IBBI, and this is an IPO, has categorically put in his valuation report is liability. I am not arguing either way here.
Vidya sir, very good point, and that is why I have specifically said you cannot write what I, in my opinion, I have read in ICAI specimen reports. Sir, I have read, you must have also have read, I have read ICAI, I think ICAI specimen report ही थी, जहाँ या कोई और report थी, I'm not able to remember right now. They have written a specific point that my liability is limited to 25,000 rupees or 5 crore as you said. But sir, section 247, I agree with you, sir, and this is my opinion. When section 247, it says, subsection 4 says that you have to pay liability for the damages, liability for the damages, right? So who will decide?
Again, I'm not arguing. What I'm
no,
trying
sir,
to tell
I agree. Sir, I agree.
Okay.
Sir,
the section you are talking about, including 236, has not been tested in Indian legal system. So section 247(4) is still not tested. All I want to share is an information to the land and building valuer. Those who have not read the Mindspace RET valuation report, it's extremely important report from a land and building valuation. I am a chartered accountant. Still, I've read the report in entirety. It's one of the good report which has been written by the ex-practice director of Cushfield company. So I just wanted to share.
I agree, sir. I agree with you. Even I noticed this point. That is why I have specifically said that this is my opinion because of section 247, section 4. It says you have to pay liability. Who will decide the liability? Let's say Avnish sir is there, and he said that the liability, I think, is the damage is 10 crore rupees. So it is the court which will decide. Merely writing, Vidya sir, I need your focus. Merely writing that my liability is limited to 5 crore rupees. Can that particular, just asking, no, I'm not debating, not arguing, because I also saw many reports which write that my liability should be maximum to 50 crores or 5 crores, whatever. So can merely writing, I'm just asking, can merely writing that my liability is limited, we can limit this?
This is again, it's an open topic. Maybe the RVO can set up another CEP for this, especially point number 12, in terms of the legal framework, the caveats and the limitation and disclaimers. So that's a very good input, so that you can get some of the experts from the legal side to participate in CEP, so that there's some amount of, I know the clarity, ultimately court will judge, the High Court and the Supreme Court will judge the legality of any legislation, parliament, but something which you can take it as an input, sir.
Right, right. But at least you write a note on a prima facie. It seems to actually what this point, limiting my liability to 5 crores might be giving an impression to users that maximum liability is 5 crore rupees. Maybe for the purpose of users, I guess, but for the damages, for calculating damages, I don't think, sir. My personal view is that it can be limited. My personal view, sir.
No, it is put it differently. If you see the report, what he writes is, I am limiting the liability 50 million because that is what I have taken insurance for this assignment. So read the report. Yeah. Extremely good report.
A very good point. Insurance, professional indemnity insurance. All the registered valuer doing valuation work, please do this thing. Take an insurance. Please take an insurance. It's very important for us. We are ignoring it, and Vidya sir has raised a very valid in terms. This is the beauty of discussions. This is the beauty of discussion, that we come to another point, that is insurance. So you want to say something about it?
No, I wanted to add here. I don't know. Maybe chartered accountants, you can address this point. We have got a personal indemnity insurance as a chartered accountant, either as an individual or as a firm. Will that cover my services as an RVR, my services as an IP? Anyone can throw some light here?
Sir, as a chartered accountant, if it is specifically mentioned that the services of chartered accountants are only covered here, so there is a blanket and a specific coverage in insurance.
No, you can
blanket.
Yeah, Ravish, this is Umesh. I just want to add that you can go to the insurance company and you can add
blanket insurance. Yes.
What you are
right.
So they can issue an endorsement to that.
Right.
Yeah,
and
add-on should be there.
Sir, even sometimes there is a.
See, I'm working as an insurance surveyor for the last 35 years.
Oh, great.
Okay.
I tried this. I was not able to make him understand what is the valuation from an RV perspective. All I wanted was a 5 lakh insurance, because my building at the end of the day does not exceed 50,000 on average. So I put 10 times over that. I said, give me 5 lakhs cover, because end of the day I'm not going to get caught in all the assignments I do. I will probably get caught in one or two. Caught means not from a fraud perspective, from a challenges complaint perspective. All I need is 1 or 2 assignments to safeguard. But this guy came back and said, no, I will give you an insurance for 1 crore. For 10 years, I will not make that money. Why do you need that amount?
I'll tell you. Actually, the thing is that you are talking about standard policies, wherein you have discussed about professional indemnity policy. Now, same kind of policy can be issued with a greater sum insured, and it will be named as special contingency policy. Okay. So it is not restricted to what you are getting 10 times or 15 times. If you go for a special contingency policy,
sir, can you explain a little bit about, because most of the members here are not aware about the insurance, about this professional indemnity insurance. So can you give us 2 minutes to make us understand?
Definitely, I would like to have a bit of, say, 15-minute lecture.
Right.
I'm not
so I would request DGF to have a 15-minute sessions. In case of you having a CP hours, you can ask Umesh sir to discuss about, because it is very important, sir. Very important. We are missing it, sir. Thank you. Thank you for it. Sir, now the last point is look beyond and think beyond. Sir, you have to look beyond the characteristic of assets. You have to look beyond the internal and external factors of the subject company. You have to look beyond the information provided by the company. And you have to look beyond the techniques of valuation. For example, warranties. How will you value a warranty? Guarantees given by one corporate to another. How will you going to value a guarantee? So how are you going to X multiplier? The valuation standards, IVS does not talks about startups valuation. How are we going to do startup valuation? X multiplier, the multipliers, how are we going to do it? So apart from all the 3 approaches, you need to understand and look beyond it, and beyond just merely signing it, or just beyond doing the valuation report for the purpose. Please read your report, have must points, the minimum points required in the report, please include it. And your report, Ashwath Damodaran sir, I will quote Ashwath Damodaran sir. Ashwath Damodaran sir says, I think is a father of valuation. You search on YouTube, there are lectures Sir, he says your valuation report should be more of a story than the numbers. Use Excel less and write a story more. So by this, I end up my session. I hope now you have read something something different about section 247. अभी तक हमने निचोड़ा नहीं था. We have used to read section 247 as a student for passing the exam. But now we are here. I try to sum up things. I try to sum up things. Ki you understand the section 247, the penalties, the rules, which I try to cope up with. And I'm working on my second book. It will cover all the laws where valuation is required. The requirement of registered value apart from Companies Act. I'm working on it. Maybe 15 September I'll complete it. And different sections where we can do valuation as a chartered accountant or a plant machinery valuer or other valuer. So I'm trying to include all the sections. So so it's now almost 2. I think. Sorry, 1. I have exceeded 10 minutes more. And thank you for patience listening. There are many questions.
Please explain regarding insurance. You are a diverted subject.
Sir, Umesh, sir, we had talked with Umesh, sir. I have requested DGF to take a specific session on insurance because it is very important, sir. Insurance is what in professional indemnity insurance. When there will be case other than fraudulent activities, if there was a fraud, then this insurance will not work. When there is a negligence or unintentional error we have done, then the person who is affected by a report can sue us, and we can take insurance for this. We can have an insurance so that we cannot pay out of our pocket for the damages. So this insurance is benefit for all.
That is available now.
Yes, sir, it is available. Amish sir, can you just give a 2 minutes for this?
Yeah, it is available. But the question which the ma'am was saying, the question which she took up, she was saying that
sir, actually, I inquired there in Indian insurance, some companies, but don't have the type of insurance is available, he says.
It is a professional indemnity policy. Now, the thing is that the ma'am was saying that it is restricted to 10 times your turnover or that. So now the thing is that whatever profession you are into it, you have some kind of guidelines like what we were discussing about 50 lakhs or 5 crores. So if that is the amount which we have to bear in case of any kind of negligence or so, that can be done because the policy will be the same. Professional indemnity will be the same, but they will change the name of that policy, which will be called professional indemnity special contingency policy.
Right.
So
Yeah,
special contingency.
Is available. Is available. Please tell me that. Suggest.
Sir, if you are on WhatsApp, please share your Umesh sir. If you are on WhatsApp group, please share number that we can. Even I will contact you for this.
That you have to pay every year or some standard. Every year you have to pay that EMI or one time you have to fix it entire.
Every year you have to pay.
Sir,
every year.
Simply it's like simply having a term insurance.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm open for question. I think the time has already up by 1, so 2 hours have already gone. I don't know kitni jaldi samay beet gaya. It was a fruitful. I would say it was a very fruitful for at least for me. I have learned a lot, and Narayan sir and Umesh sir, you have Satish Gogra sir, you have given some inputs regarding it, and I have noted it down. And if you have any specific question, I'll take 5 questions. And in case of any questions, I'm already every second I'm available for you. You can call me without any hesitation. Just call me कि sir ये problem है, आप बताओ. If I can do any help or if I can do any opinion, I will definitely love to give you. So any questions?
Share your number, sir. In the group, share your number.
Okay, sir. Although my number is this, sir. This is my number.
Yeah, in group, you can share is better.
I'll do it, sir. I'll do it. Sir.
Yeah. So thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure. I hope you all understood. If any specific questions regarding the session, please ask me. I can take 5 questions.
Thank you, Ravi sir, for this informative session, and hope you all liked it and helped you gain knowledge.
Kajal, there are some questions lined up in chat box. So I'll request you to please note down the questions, and if you mail me the questions, I'll reply to them, and then we can answer in the WhatsApp group or through mail, because there are lots of questions and we have already exceeded 2 hours and I have to go to my home also. So in case,
sure, sir.
Yeah,
I will just share all the queries on your mail, all the questions.
Thank you, DGF.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, DGF,
very
for
much.
giving this
Thank
opportunity.
you very much.
It was my first CEP, probably, and thank you so much. I hope you got some idea, you learned something from it. Right. Kajal, please go on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this informative session, and hope you all liked it and helped you gain knowledge. We'll try to organize such events in future also. And if anyone have any doubts or specific topic you want to cover from our side, please contact us or write us on the mail so that we can cover in upcoming events of CEP. And because we mainly first motive of conducting the CEP is to enhance your knowledge and update you regarding the valuation course. So thank you all for being an active participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
फिनिश 2 मार्क मिळाले. अरे बारक्या पोरागत करावं लागते मला अजून बघ 2 मार्कासाठी मारावं लागतं. चला पण लेक्चर मध्ये नॉलेज मिळतं.